Diphylobothrum latum, fish tapeworm, and Echinococcus granulosus, dog tapeworm. Diphylobothrum latum is the fish tapeworm. Fish tapeworm can infect all kinds of mammals, including humans, domesticated dogs and cats, and wild foxes, bear, mink, seals, any kind of animal that would eat raw fish. The adult fish tapeworm lives in the host's small intestine, just like every other tapeworm. In the intestine, the adult worm can reach up to The adult fish tapeworm can reach up to 10 meters long, can produce millions of eggs a day from gravid proglottids, and has a scolex that's much more like a clamshell or even a hot dog bun to grab onto and hold onto the lining of the intestine as the adult worm grows. Here we have the Diphylobothrum life cycle. This is probably the most complex life cycle that we've described. There are some that are more complex, but this one is fairly interesting. Now, if we start essentially at number 1, step number 1 shows us the diagnostic stage, which are the unembryonated eggs passed in the feces of a person that's infected with fish tapeworm. Now, as this embryo begins to develop, the embryonated eggs wind up in water, some kind of aquatic system, and have transformed into chorocidea, an intermediate immature stage. The chorocidea are ingested by crustaceans. The crustaceans are a location for maturation and transformation of the chorocidea into proceracoid larvae. The proceracoid larvae are in the body cavity of the crustacean. So, the embryonated eggs wind up washed into water where they hatch into chorocidea. The chorocidea are in the digestive tract of the crustacean. It's in the crustacean that they continue to mature into what's called a proceracoid larvae. The proceracoid larvae inside the crustacean then gets ingested by small fish. As the whole thing gets eaten and the crustacean is digested, the proceracoid larvae is released and starts to develop into a pterocercoid. The pterocercoid larvae wind up in the little fish that are the infective stages, the larvae, not the fish. So, when the little fish are eaten by the bigger predator, when the pterocercoid larvae are ingested in the muscle of the predatory fish that humans would ingest, either raw or undercooked, then that larvae winds up in our intestine, where it grows into a mature tapeworm and also then continues the life cycle. Now, the embryonated egg that winds up in water could get there a number of ways. Often, if human feces are deposited on land and the feces with the embryonated eggs gets washed into water, or perhaps some kind of agriculture that relies on a lot of water, where humans deposit their feces close to those areas, then the unembryonated eggs get passed onto and get into the crustaceans, transforming from unembryonated to embryonated and then back to chorocidea again. Dog tapeworm, or Echinococcus granulosus, is the smallest tapeworm we know of. It has 3 proglottids. One actually has the scolex in the neck and really doesn't produce eggs. The other 2 are typical proglottids, and in fact, the other 2 proglottids, the middle and the tail end, are gravid proglottids and do produce eggs. Now, dogs are the definitive host, the ideal host for Echinococcus, but there are lots of other warm-blooded mammals that can get infected. In addition to humans, lots of domesticated animals serve as intermediate hosts, or accidental hosts, for Echinococcus. Now, there's an infective condition called hydatidosis that Echinococcus can cause. It's essentially the formation of cyst-like structures in various parts of the body. Notice we have a distinctive geographic distribution of hydatidosis in humans for large parts of various continents.
Particularly Asia and Europe, Northern Africa, Southern South America, and in the northern Canadian provinces, a good half of eastern Australia as well.
Notice with the dog tapeworm, Echinococcus has an interesting life cycle. We have definitive hosts, which are canines, dogs and other kinds of canine carnivores or omnivores, and then we have intermediate hosts, lots of domesticated animals that are typically herbivores. In either case, the eggs that are infective wind up being ingested. In terms of oncospheres, those are essentially the stages that wind up in the intestine. It's the oncospheres that are also essentially leading to the formation of the hydatid cysts. Once the infective embryonated egg is ingested, then unfortunately the diagnostic stage for the domesticated animals, the herbivores, and for humans are the hydatid cysts in various body sites. Notice with the illustration of the human anatomical sites, the hydatid cysts can wind up in brain, lung, heart, liver, spleen, even bone. In terms of oncospheres, which are smaller versions, those are
going to be found in liver and lung and lots of other soft tissues. As the hydatid cyst grows, it crowds out and destroys more and more normal tissue.
This is an example of a cerebral hydatid cyst. Pretty massive. This image is post-mortem. And notice the person's hand underneath the cyst holding the ruler will give you a relative size of the cyst. So hydatid cysts can be quite life-threatening, and you can go online and find all kinds of other images of dog tapeworm hydatid cysts that have been very serious causes of a wide variety of illness or disease in humans.